back to Hooniverse podcast. I'll go this time because I am scared of awkward silence. So I'm Dan Roth, joined by Ross Ballard. Ross, what are we talking about today?
We are going to talk about some electric Porsches that may or may not live. We are going to talk about the cold weather and cars that are or aren't good for the cold weather. I have a Yukon Denali Ultimate press car, and then we'll go over our usual, personal shenanigans. So, What I want to start with, I was in California a few weeks ago on a work trip, and I drove up into the canyons, and I took one of the, I mean, you could say roads less taken, but it's a Malibu Canyon road, so it is a road very, very often taken. And I happened upon, and for the audio listeners, I'm sorry, but I'm sharing my screen, and you can see it if you watch our video. I happened upon the Cayenne EV test mule, and it was the Cayenne EV, and then in front of it they had a Macan. I think it was a GTS. I don't know. It sounded good, but couldn't really, inspect too closely. And it's very awkward when you happen upon people who have zero desire to interact with you in any way, shape, or form. And it's not like, wait, hold on. This is a Cayenne, right? I'm not delusional. It's
it's ugly. Yeah, it's a Cayenne.
Just making sure, because I can hardly distinguish the two. But yeah, so I tried to engage with them, and I was like already preparing my speech about how I'm in the media, but I'm not like cutting edge media. I won't spill any of your secrets. And every time I would walk over to them, they would dive into one of the cars. The two guys would literally hide.
That is their training, because they're not. I mean, they're engineers. They're not. They're not trained to talk to media. They don't want to talk to you. They have shit to do.
Nothing to do with me. And I was in a rental Jetta, and I just kind of like sat down on the hood and took pictures of the beautiful sunset and whatnot. And it was an extremely awkward experience, but it was pretty interesting. It's the first time that I've actually been like that up close and personal with an unreleased test vehicle. And there's really not much you can deduce from a test car without broaching the spectrum of what's socially acceptable. Like the guy left the door open, but I wasn't going to just like jump into the car or anything. So I pretended to take pictures of the sunset, and then I waited a few minutes, and the Macan drove away and sounded like a Macan. And then the Cayenne EV drove away, and it sounded like a V8 Cayenne.
Really?
It's very clearly some severe synthetic stuff going on there. That's not your traditional sci-fi spaceship kind of noise. It sounded like a Cayenne, a twin turbo V8 Cayenne under low load, in my opinion.
But hang on though. Like, do you think this is just a ruse to fool any onlookers, or do you think this is the thing like that everybody made fun of Stellantis for, was their sonoramic whatever?
Oh well, that's
pipe organ.
That's the pipe organ. That's different. This just sounded like a car they already make. It wasn't just like some,
Yeah. So it's it was like a, but it didn't sound like a recording though, right? Or
no. It sounded like a throttle dependent recording, which could have been. I mean,
interesting.
It's a prototype. It could have been something that will never see the light of day. It could be something they were playing with for the second iteration, or the whatever GTS turbo comes down the line for the Cayenne EV. But it was an interesting thing to stumble upon. I know they're engineers. I wish they had even just like said hi.
You should have said something in German to them, like "Jawohl" or something.
I should have pulled open like Google Translate and just been like, he said something like, "Oh, I see smoke coming from battery."
Das ist Scheiß. I don't know that much German.
I don't know any German, so I'm not going to say anything. So I just wanted to share that. It's not every day that a guy that lives in Connecticut is in the California hills just driving around for shits and stumbles upon a car that he's only seen online.
I mean, that's cool. And if they have a sound package, I'm sure it'll be part of like the Sport Chrono package that comes with the little chronometer on the dash and unlocks all the performance and costs.
Oh yes, your Cayenne EV can sound like
$45,000. Yeah,
can sound like a 917.
Look, there's an opportunity. There's an upsell opportunity. I've been saying this for years.
Well,
it's like ringtones with EVs and even the sounds within the car. Like you can license a lot of that stuff.
Predictive. We are 20 years away. It was 20 years ago that everybody was downloading and paying for ringtones.
Yeah. But it was it Garmin that had the thing where you could, or TomTom, you could actually download celebrity voices to your nav, so you could get like Mr. T or like.
I remember. I think Waze had that for a brief period too, because there was it was really popular when it was people it was like Gordon Ramsay telling you missed a turn, you fucked up, like that kind of stuff. But I don't think anybody here at least wants to be shouted at in German after they get on the wrong side street. Anyways, no. So that was my interaction with the Cayenne EV. And if anybody from Porsche is listening, you done good in training them to not say anything.
I mean, that's honestly, as a former automaker comms person, that's what you want. You want them to not engage. You guys have work to do. Whatever you're doing out there, keep doing it.
Yeah.
Do not engage.
We walked on opposite sides of the car, and I said, "Is this the Cayenne EV?" And the guy literally stopped, looked at me, and got in the car. Okay, this is how it's
that's when somebody stops and looks at you like that. You could go one or two ways.
Scamper, quick. Yeah. All right, scatter. So,
was this the Canyon Road where is this one of the dangerous ones? I mean, they're all kind of dangerous, right?
I don't specifically remember which one this was. I deliberately took some of the canyon roads that aren't the ones people talk about regularly. It was like I saw maybe 2 cars the entire time I was on that road.
That's nice.
It was great. It was great. And it feels like alien territory, like a totally different planet compared to what we have here.
Oh yeah, no, it looks like you're driving around in like a picture or something. It's literally like everything just looks different.
I'm gonna send a pic. Hold on. This is awesome radio as I talk while I look at my phone.
I mean, I could talk about my LA experience, my LA driving experience, which was basically just like, I don't know, the 5 and the 405.
Oh, fun!
Just like, maybe it wasn't the 4. I can't remember. It was highways because LA is very large.
The 101.
Yeah. I don't know. Like last time I was there for Slate, I stayed in Santa Monica, and we were meeting over, like I was right by the pier, and then we were meeting over at whatever club, at motoring club. And so it was like a couple of exits hop over, and it was just like, why is there gridlock here? I legit left at like 6:30 in the morning just to.
Yeah, that is my thing about LA is that it's a car city, it's a city, and they wanted to have that vibe of being culturally dense, which maybe it is. I'm not somebody who analyzes that stuff.
More than one way.
But yeah. Anyways, I saw this Land Cruiser up there while I was in the canyons, and it looked awesome. And yeah,
that's a beautiful shot. Is that clouds? Like, are you guys up above the clouds, or is that water?
No, that's the ocean that you can see in the background there. And probably of like an $85,000 80 series on Bring a Trailer. So
that's nice.
Oh man,
yeah. The light is different out there. The car scene is different.
The car scene is different. There was more interesting stuff that I would see within like 30 seconds of leaving my hotel than in 30 days of driving around here.
Yeah.
But that's what happens when you can drive it every day.
Yeah. I think there's actually probably a business, and people probably already do this, of like going out and snagging the stuff that Southern Californians and people who live in like this sort of desert Southwest are like, ew, it's rusty, and you're like, that's just surface rust. It's fine. Like, dragging it back here.
There's such a different.
For years.
such a different perspective on East Coast and West Coast. For us, West Coast people are just like, oh yeah, it's from the ocean. It's from the breeze and whatnot. And here it's like, oh no, the salt, the road salt, and the treatment has been eating my frame alive for the last decade. Hi, Toyota. Yeah. Anyways,
they replaced the frames.
They replaced a lot of frames.
Did they replace yours?
No. I'm going to do the. I think I'm like a year or two out from doing that dry ice treatment, where they basically it's like the opposite of powder coating. They basically just like use dry ice to blow off all the bits of rust and whatnot, and then they treat it with like a wool wax or something. But I don't know. Every time I talk about getting rid of the truck, I end up keeping it, and I'm kind of in it for the long haul now.
Well, you can get yourself a stick welder, and you can plate it when it starts to rust through.
Yeah, right.
It's not unsafe at all.
The last time I welded, a spark jumped and went into a garbage can full of papers that were being disposed of, and it literally caught fire. And this was my junior year of high school, and I haven't tried my hand at welding since.
It sounds like comedy.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was not at the time. Yeah. Anyways, let's speaking of cold and speaking of crap weather, I wanted to ask you, what is the best cold weather car you've owned or driven?
One with heat. I would say actually, the best cold weather cars. I really do like our WK2 in the bad weather. It's a limited, so it's not like manually shifting into four-wheel drive or anything. Mm-hmm. You do need to use winter tires on it.
It's a Grand Cherokee for people who are in the Jeep, terminology world.
And yes,
I would agree that's a very good cold weather car.
It goes everywhere with no problem, and it's so stable.
Yep.
On the winter tires, if you don't have winter tires on it, it's not really that good. I don't know.
It's good on all terrains.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. The tires that it came with were like Michelin Primacy MXM4s or something.
No. They're lowest bidder tires. They're terrible.
The all seasons, you'll go sailing through stop signs, and you're just like, this is a Jeep.
Right. My parents usually put like the Hankook Dynapro ATMs on theirs, or this time Toyo hooked everybody up and gave them a discount on AT3s. And it's a monster. The thing about the WK2 that people don't think about in the snow is it's so proportionally like track width to wheelbase perfect for snow driving.
Yeah, it's really good. Honestly, like the stability control hardly ever fires unless you provoke it. Again, on winter tires. If not, it's a mess. I have Dynapro ATMs on the Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
They're okay.
Those are the factory tires, right? Those are the FX4 factory tires for a stretch.
Yep. White letters. I got it because they were white letters.
White letters. White letters do look
awesome. But that one actually is like, it's got winter tires on it. Now with Steely's, they're Firestone something or others, but they're a more traditional snow tire. They're not as good as the Blizzaks that's on everything else.
Yeah.
I will say as well, I really did like our Volvo 740s on Blizzaks. They were great.
Yes.
I like rear wheel drive in the snow. They were
not one of us, dude.
Yeah, look, you can rotate with the throttle. It's just the whole point.
Or the foot, whichever you prefer. That's the thing about rear wheel drive.
I'm trying to think what else I've driven that was really good in the snow. But with the media cars, I've been out of it for a while. And so it's not as fresh in my mind, and you only have them for a week usually. So you
only get to experience the spectrum of weather that comes during that week. And the reason I ask this is because the projected forecast for the weather here this weekend, I think I sent this to you, but the expected wind chill on Saturday night is negative 29 degrees. It's going to be -5 actual and -29 real feel, wind chill, whatever you want to call it, which is really goddamn cold. And I know there are people listening in Canada or the Midwest who will laugh at that and say, oh, well, we had -40 wind chill. Like, great. Doesn't matter. Once you're below like -20, it's all the same. It sucks. Yeah. Like once you're over 105 degrees, is there a difference between 105 and 120? Not really.
I don't
Not
know.
really.
So I think too, like the difference is that their surroundings and their culture is accustomed to it more. It doesn't get quite that cold here that often, so people are
This will
not
be
used to it.
record breaking.
They're not prepared. They don't know what to do. It's like when it snows in Georgia, like it's just pandemonium.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Or in like ice in North Texas or an inch of snow in North Texas shuts down the city.
Ice, lifelong New Englander. I don't like ice.
I don't like ice. I don't like ice.
It breaks down trees,
power lines,
it's no good. It's beautiful the next day, but it's
so pretty. But then you walk outside and it's silent, and you hear one crack, and you know a tree has fallen or a huge icicle has fallen, and you know that it's not good. Like no way around.
We had a giant ice storm back in
it was like
2010.
Was it 2010?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's been a few, but the big one that I remember was 2010 because we spent all night with the power out listening to legitimate trees, like large maples and things, falling. And there was a huge one that shook the whole house, and it was one of the trees in the backyard. Yeah. It nearly made it to the house, like through the kids' bedrooms.
Jesus,
like, what was that?
Yeah. No, we have we have a couple like 70 footers around our house.
Trees are heavy.
Yeah, scary shit. Anyways, So the reason I brought this up is cars are vulnerable to cold weather the same way that people are, obviously in different ways, more or less. The electric cars that I've had generally have amazing HVAC. Much to the detriment of their range. If you use it to their full capacity, the heat in that Lyric V that we talked about in our last show was it was unbelievable how good that was. How quickly it gets warm, how adjustable it is, and how insulated a car makes. How the degree to which a company it's not just insulation. It's not just how much sound deadening is in there, but it's also just like the build quality and whether you can feel the cold creeping in when the wind chill is -10.
I remember as a kid
we feel often here.
No, most modern cars are pretty well sealed. That's why they have the little check valves. They're usually hidden behind the rear valance. When you close the door, they kind of pop out because otherwise the door would just
and so many modern cars the door goes all the way down below the rocker.
But I remember as a kid we had Fords, so we had like an 82 Escort and we had a Fox body wagon, and you could feel like driving on the highway at night in the winter, just like a stream of cold air coming through the door handle. It was just the way they were designed. They weren't really sealed, and so like a lot of that is better in modern cars. Anything designed for cold climate. So that
cold climate.
I liked the Volvos was just like they had huge heat capacity.
Their domestic market, but
so I wonder too. Did the Lyric have? Did it have heat pump HVAC or it probably did?
Absolutely no idea.
So that's very efficient. And the other way to do it is they call it PTC, which is positive temperature coefficient, it's basically a resistive heater that eats the hell out of your range, but it does you don't have to wait for anything to warm up. It's
instantaneous
electric heat. Yeah.
So the Lyric allegedly, according to Google, does have a heat pump. The funny thing is that if you type in, does the Cadillac Lyric have, the first thing is Apple CarPlay. And that's probably the general consensus typing that in, because new car, does it have this tech that I'm looking for? But us, we know the question is that one of the ones that GM decided should or shouldn't have CarPlay, But anyways, I just thought that would be a fun little snippet.
Yeah, I mean, so Lyric aside though, what was your favorite or most impressive winter vehicle?
The best vehicle I've ever driven in the snow, not like my own GX notwithstanding, I owned a 2017 WRX on I think they were General Ultimax Arctic
Yep.
winter tires.
It's a good tire.
It was until it got to the point where ground clearance or, like snow plowing became a problem. It was far and beyond the best car I've ever driven in the winter. And it was just like predictable and controllable. And I mean, it's a WRX. It's point and shoot, like there's 3 inches of snow on the ground. It doesn't matter. You just drive like it's on winter tires, on good winter tires. You drive like it's not the summer, but like it's raining or something. The most fun I've ever had, I dailied my Miata through a few winters on snow tires. Was awesome. That was on Michelin sent me like X Ice.
Those are also good tires,
or something, and I had it on RX-7 wheels, and it was just like, it was a time in life when I couldn't do that now, obviously, but it was just so enjoyable. Like 30 degrees with the roof down in the snow, heat blasting, the fucking, like, some of the most enjoyable time I've ever spent sitting behind the wheel.
Well, so a sports car in the snow is an interesting thing because, yes, they're low to the ground, but otherwise it's a balanced car. So it's going to be really good to drive even in a low traction condition because it's good. It's got the weight distributions right. It's set up to be responsive. It's going to be easy to control.
My wife and I went to a supermarket a few towns over on an extremely snowy night, like a couple days before Christmas, and there's a big hill right before you get to the supermarket. And this is like, if anybody in New England knows, this is Stu Leonard's. It's like Mecca for supermarketing. And there's a big hill, and we were stopped at the stoplight, and next to us was like a new Highlander on like new Highlander tires. The light turned green, and it was so slippery that they started accelerating and slid backwards like a few feet, and we were just away. And that was, oh man. And I did a Challenger in 2 winters on snow tires, done some silly things. But
actually one of the more terrifying press cars I had in the winter was a Challenger Scat Pack.
On winter tires?
No. That was the issue. It was beautiful. It was dark metallic green. It had the houndstooth. I think it had like the 1320 package or whatever. It's really hard to keep it straight with the Challenger.
It had the big Hemi. Did to those what it did, because those cars are actually really awesome.
They are fantastic cars. Awesome. I love the LX cars. Nobody's going to ever stop me from loving the LX cars.
I know. I wanted a Charger Hellcat so bad.
I had one as a press car. Or I had a. No, I had the
even a Scat Pack Charger 4-door.
Yeah, so the Challenger Scat Pack, like it had the big Hemi and a manual. Fun car, but like not. It was weather like we have right now. It was like there's no traction. It's too much power. Yeah, it's just like
so much weight.
This is actually kind of scary. I was worried about the fleet guy coming to take it. I was like, get this fucking thing out of here.
I don't blame you. I once upon a time I was delivered a C8 press car on actual winter tires, the biggest, widest winter tires I've ever seen, and I was like, okay, I guess this is happening. It was awesome,
I bet it was, actually. That's probably a really good car to drive in the snow, too, if it's not like a huge
storm. It was one of those winters where it was like, it's going to snow on Thursday. No, there's no snow. It's going to snow on Sunday. No, there's no snow.
Sorry.
But it was
and I think the worst, like most harrowing experience I ever had driving in the snow was when my brother was living in New Jersey, southern Jersey, a little north of Atlantic City. We went down with the kids. Kids were real little. We went down for Christmas.
That part of Jersey,
and so like just off the turnpike, right? Like long trip on the Jersey Turnpike, and on our way home. And we knew this was coming, but there's just a big storm that rolled into New England. We hit it before we got out of Jersey, and it was like us and the tractor trailers, no visibility. You couldn't see the lanes. The plows couldn't get ahead of it, and we were going all the way from Jersey to Massachusetts.
Freaking haul in that weather.
That is, I can't remember how long the drive was in good weather, but it's long.
And it felt like 5 times that day.
It was at least double. It was a very long time to be in the saddle. And then, everybody fell asleep, and I'm on like the Mass Pike. And it's just like
right.
that was a press car. That was a second generation Kia Sportage, I think. It
Okay.
might have been the Hyundai Tucson. I can't remember.
Same
Whatever
thing.
it was, it had the little V6, and it had all-wheel drive with a lock button. Look, little ugly duckling. That was before Hyundai and Kia hit their stride.
And it probably did fine because it probably weighed like 3,800 pounds.
It was great. It was trusty and solid, and you kind of go slow. You don't do anything stupid. It was great. It just took forever to get home, but that was a harrowing drive because you couldn't see anything.
I have two stories that follow this story. So, a few months after this was, I guess my first daughter was 6 months old, and we needed to get out of Connecticut, so we went to Newport, which is an awesome, awesome town. Absolutely love Newport. And we took a, what's the Kia minivan that's out right now? The name is, shit.
It's not the
Cadenza.
It's the Carnival.
Carnival, yeah. Oh, Jesus. I'm sorry, Kia.
Carnival.
We took a Kia Carnival, which, we had a 6-month-old. It was great because my wife could sit in the second row and like do the recline thing.
Yeah.
We were there for this was like right around Christmas. And if anybody wants to go to like a quintessential Christmas town, like you would see in a movie, Newport on Thames Street is it's game over. And there was a snowstorm coming in, and our 6-month-old daughter was not enjoying the stay in a place she had never slept before. So we drove home from Newport to Southwest Connecticut in an actual blizzard in a Kia Carnival. And it took the drive there without bad weather is it's 2 hours. It took 4.5 hours to get home. And the car did great. It was just if you drive like a sensible human being, you can get through most stuff. I mean, this was whiteout conditions for almost the full duration of the state of Connecticut. One of the sketchiest drives I've ever done. And in hindsight, we should have just hunkered down. But that's hindsight. And we can save my other story for another time.
I mean, I've been to Newport. Newport is always that's a drive that makes you realize oh my God, why is Rhode Island so big? It just takes forever to actually get to Newport.
No, it makes you realize why people just take their boats to the nice places.
You would have been better off going just across Long Island Sound, like the French did.
Yeah, right. I would be better off if I had an extra $300,000 in my vacation budget. No, we stayed in a shitty hotel, and no. If we didn't have a press car, we wouldn't have been able to swing the trip.
That's a long slog because you went. I don't know the route from 95 down to Newport. I don't know the number, but basically from there home, it's 95.
Yeah,
all the way through southeastern Connecticut and southern Connecticut, New Haven. You hit all the crap
the whole way home. It was a horrible drive, but I am forever ever grateful to the Kia Carnival for that trip.
Yep.
It was a 2 hands on the wheel trip the whole way, which I've had not that many of in my life.
So consensus-wise, Kias good in the snow.
Yeah, they don't suck. They don't suck. So, anyways, we can talk about the Yukon Denali Ultimate on another show.
Okay.
You're a Boston guy. Who you got for the Super Bowl?
Patriots. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good game. It's a matchup it's a repeat of a matchup. Both teams look really good. Pats are not the sort of precision weapon.
No, they're not a powerhouse like they were.
Yeah, but they're scrappy and they're clever and they're fun. So it'll be a good game.
How do you feel about Belichick getting snubbed?
Nobody likes
he's
that
a shitty person.
He's cranky, and I can relate to the crankiness, but he probably cares a little, but he probably doesn't care all that much. He's whatever, I have the rings.
Yeah. This 70-year-old man with his 24-year-old girlfriend, whatever. Yeah. He's probably pissed off, honestly.
I would feel a little bit crappy. Clearly the achievement is there. Why you would snub them? whatever.
I laughed. I saw the headline on ESPN at my gym at like 7 a.m. and laughed out loud. It's like, fucker. That's what he and Bob Kraft get for being
yeah. I mean, they're
not going to say that word on air.
Yeah, they're not my buddies. I really, I can't deny the achievement, but like I
don't look at their donation history, whatever you.
Yeah, those guys don't need accolades.
No.
I would like some accolades. I can get named to a Hall of Fame as long as it comes with a large check. I think that'd be great.
Doesn't matter what Hall of Fame it is.
Right? Like the automotive podcaster with a small audience Hall of Fame.
The Hooniverse Podcasting Hall of Fame.
There we go.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to have a big audience.
You had a show and a half when shows were blowing up.
Yeah. And that only kept going because we wanted to. We liked it. They tried to kill it and we're like, no. And now that it's still going.
Yeah, well, the landscape has changed, and thankfully we have Jeff's blessing to bring things down even further.
And that's a good point. Actually, speaking of the changed landscape, one of the things we had on our list, although I think it's gone now, Throttle House and Top Gear.
Yes.
Just
Grand Tour.
Just
Grand
Tour. Like a Grand Tour. I'm sorry, whatever. They're all the same.
They're two of the same. It's Willman. It's Andy Willman. Yeah, no, the Throttle House guys. We knew this wasn't a secret. It was just a matter of a final announcement and like a launch date. And this morning, Thomas and James from Throttle House officially have said that they will be hosting the Grand Tour with Train Guy. Train Guy. The other guy they've brought in is I think his name's like Francis or French or something.
Let's see. I'm going to use somebody else's reporting here. So let's see. Thomas Holland, James Engelsman, and Francis Bourgeois.
Yeah, I had it. Yeah. So we have a new Grand Tour. The holy trinity of Clarkson, Hammond, and May have, they've aged out.
Well, so how far past their sell-by date do you think those three were by the time this happened? Anyway,
so I think there was something good after Top Gear that could have been better, but I think it wasn't them. It was everything behind it that made it so contrived. So I don't know. The sell-by date. If Clarkson hadn't been acting like a douche, they probably could have kept going on Top Gear for another at least 5 years.
Yeah, possibly. So I think every time that shifted, because there was Top Gear and the Grand Tour, and it was like, I don't know, whatever he's doing with the farm now. I have no
Clarkson's farm is the best thing he's ever done.
Is it really?
It is truly Matt Farah always says that the best part of Top Gear was whenever they were helpless or hopeless or didn't know what they were doing. And that's basically this entire show is him realizing how inept he is. But there's a heartfelt connection with what he's doing, herding sheep or shoveling shit is a lot different and a lot more relatable to most of us than driving a Pagani.
Yeah, I think I really I liked. So Top Gear, sort of, we all kind of got into it in the early 2000s, watching back episodes, and he was just, he's just a very clever writer, and he's funny, and then as Top Gear progressed, even towards the end of Top Gear, or their run on Top Gear, it became a shtick. And it was less about the cars and more about them pranking each other all the time. And I was like, this is not interesting to me.
People always say they didn't watch Top Gear for the cars. It was a car show, or no? Okay, people say it was a car show, but it wasn't really about the cars. It was about the people and the stories and the journeys and the adventures. But yeah, to your point, it very much by the end turned into, we have to make this joke every episode.
Yeah, and I liked their car segments. I I liked some of the other stuff too. Like it was a well done show, but they got imbalanced where it just became all about them messing with each other. And
I think some of that was political and the BBC telling them that they couldn't just spend 90 minutes each week being nerds. They had to have these jokes that they could put in their commercials and whatnot, and everybody else suffered. or maybe it was just their egos.
It really did. Like it did have a big effect on car media. Like I remember watching some of those episodes when I sort of first discovered them, and I was like, this cost a fortune to shoot, because they had like aerials, like not cheap drone aerials, helicopter aerials.
The budget was unbelievable. I read at one point it was like $15 million an episode or something.
That's bonkers, but it's like beautiful stuff, really well written, really well produced. I think
completely changed the automotive media landscape. End of statement.
Yeah. I don't.
Go ahead. Sorry, I don't mean to.
I was just gonna say, like I think one of the things that I started to get kind of tired of too was like the particular brand of humor, and maybe this is just Clarkson, which you respect for what you've achieved, but also like you were a dude who went to like high-end schools in England. Like that's a particular thing, and whether or not you were happy there, because I don't think he's talked about it. I don't think he was happy at his private school, but like also him and was it Andy Willman, they were school buddies, and so there was just some of that, like that joke was really obvious. You don't need to do that. Like that's cheap. Like I'm tired of you.
Like,
they're really good. You're better than that. Like
we thought
kind
that.
of thing.
We thought that. We don't know what they were being told behind the scenes. And I'm not trying to play defense or defend them in any way. There was inevitably some kind of politics happening that made them go on the trajectory that they went on. And I mean, the show had everything good comes to an end,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it came to the end because he punched somebody over a sandwich.
Yeah.
If it wasn't that, it would have been something even worse.
There were other things prior to that. Like that was pressure building up behind the club.
That was the last straw.
Yeah. I mean, I do agree with a lot of like it's funny, like everybody's complicated, he's complicated. The show has a little bit of history to it. It's good though. It's good TV. Do we think though that the Grand Tour is going to be relevant? So maybe it is relevant to another audience, which is clearly what they're trying to do
with this new cast. I don't know. Yeah. It doesn't carry the same weight with it that Top Gear carried after they left. The Grand Tour is Top Gear is a household name as far as like worldwide media goes. The Grand Tour isn't. There's much less pressure. I mean, not to disparage the amount of pressure that there actually is on these guys, but there's less pressure on them than there is on, say like the people that succeeded Clarkson, Hammond, and May at Top Gear, which is probably good because like Chris Evans on Top Gear was literally unwatchable. There was a great period of like quote unquote new Top Gear with Matt LeBlanc and Chris Harris and Roy Reid, and like that was a good show. That was an enjoyable. They had camaraderie. It felt like the makings of what could have become similar to old Top Gear. It just never got there. I don't know. Do you think that these guys have any potential for? Do you watch Throttle House?
No, not a regular watcher of Throttle House. But I do think that they've built something. So they have a history. Like they have a fan base. Yeah. They're a known quantity. And the third guy, Francois, is Francis. I'm getting his names messed up, but anyway, like I think I think people like watching him because of his enthusiasm for what he's enthusiastic about. So I think that dynamic will actually be interesting. And
somebody compared him with Fensky, where it's like you're a nerd and you embrace that.
Yeah. So you give it a chance. I mean, so much of the automotive media spectrum is not for anybody other than us. It's like we're talking to ourselves.
It's an echo chamber, if there ever was one.
Let's see if they can have a broader appeal. They might. They're pulling in a couple of different audiences, and it's all. If they have interesting takes, it'll be great. I really see what they say.
I will urge anybody with doubts, yourself included, to watch the Throttle House video on the Lamborghini Temerario that came out this morning. It feels like this video was the test bed for if they could actually do the Grand Tour, like make it bigger than two guys with a YouTube channel doing reviews. It has that embellishment and like level beyond just here's the car, here's the stats, here's what we like and don't like about it. I have high hopes.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to come back and see what we thought about it after they kind of kick out their first bit of stuff. All right. Let's keep going. So we're not going to talk about the Yukon Denali Ultimate.
We'll save that because I've only put like 25 or 30 miles on it.
Okay.
And it costs as much as down payment on my house, so we can talk about whether that's worth it or not in a different.
So is it in the hundreds of thousands of dollars?
108.
108. That's most of
short wheelbase. Short wheelbase, not an XL.
Okay. That's a great vehicle. It's always a great vehicle. I like the Yukons and the Suburbans and stuff.
I have my qualms. I will.
Better than the Escalade, though. I hadn't had it. The Escalade just leaves me flat. It's like, this is so annoying. You get in the Chevy or the GMC and you're like, okay, this is better.
Yeah, my gut after driving it for a couple of days is you could spend 40% less and get the exact same experience. The niceties that are added to it.
Yeah. Don't
take the price from 68 to 108. Or even like a base Denali is 80. This is a $110,000 vehicle.
That's a crazy spread. That is crazy. It doesn't cost them that much more to make it that nice.
Once upon a time, I set out to write an article about like what vehicle has the biggest price delta between base and top trim, because I think I actually owned my Challenger at the time, because the base Challenger was like 28, and you could get a Hellcat for like Hellcats were like in the mid to high 70s.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's pickups either, because a base 1500 is still like 35 grand and fully optioned. Yeah, you're in the 90s, but there's got to be something that has a bigger delta.
I think it'll get skewed by all the high end stuff, because the price is already high, and then as you start to add stuff, it just becomes
talk pedestrian.
You have to limit your sample set.
Just thinking about it, I got it. Jeep Wrangler, 2-door, base, stick shift, no option, no frill vehicles. I think they just crested 30. I think they're 31 or 32. And you can get a final edition 392. I think they're like 110. Percentage wise, nothing's beating that. That's until you talk like bespoke, special editions Porsche.
I would say that like Porsche is probably going to distort your numbers a bit, because as you start adding stuff to it, it just becomes really expensive.
Yeah, that's fantasy land. That doesn't count.
Yeah, right. Count. Like nobody buys Porsches.
No,
because they sell a lot of vehicles, but
yeah, what was that famous line? Like, nobody goes here. It's
too crowded.
It's too crowded. Nobody goes here anymore. Yeah, that's 911 world.
But I mean, and I would say specifically the 911. Like the Macan is probably the highest volume Porsche, at least over the last decade, and
they're the highest margin car brand based on profit margin, which
that makes. I'm surprised that Ferrari or Lamborghini aren't higher, but yeah. I mean, Ferrari might be, they're going to tell you whatever they want you to know. They don't.
100%.
They're such a funny company.
100%. I don't know, man. I'm back up and give the caveat of every automotive enthusiast, if they don't love Ferrari, appreciates Ferrari for no other reason than their influence and their motorsports impact. I'm not a Ferrari guy. And that has nothing to do with the amount of money that isn't in my bank account. That's just not my shtick. Wow, I'm really about to go on a tangent here. God, do I hope that Lewis Hamilton and Kim Kardashian are in a couple. Oh boy, that would be catastrophic.
Oh, that's an interesting. How did you get there from there?
I don't know, man. That's just
Hamilton F1.
It hasn't been confirmed, but there's been swirlings in the media that Lewis and Kim Kardashian are together, and every time it comes into my brain, I just want to vomit because I love Lewis. I love Lewis, and I couldn't hate a family more than I hate the Kardashians.
Really? I think you probably could.
They contribute. Okay, yeah. Okay. In American public media, there is no family that contributes less for what they're worth.
That's our culture. And
I'm not talking about the government, Dan.
No. It's our culture, our celebrity worship culture, and it's actually more distilled in the UK. It's way more concentrated over there with the celebrity stuff. So
right, which is why.
Yeah, and maybe that's part of my issue with like the really high-end cars and stuff. It's like the most terrible people love these things, and they're like, they're like the high-end watches and stuff. Like none of this is productive or useful. I can appreciate the machine. Thank you for being a patron to the craft.
Right. Thank you for keeping this going.
You're disgusting.
What kind of watch guy are you? What are you rocking?
I have a Citizen Eco Drive.
Eco Drive, nice.
My wife got me when the first kid was going to be born. That's the fanciest watch I've ever had.
That will last the rest of your life.
Yep. Otherwise, cheap Timex. They're good. They keep time. And honestly, I
love Timex. I used
Timex to make some nice stuff. Yeah.
Timex is a Connecticut company. They're the oldest American watch company, and I used to meet my UPS guy in the Timex headquarters parking lot every single day. Yeah, I love Timex. I wish they made watches that were. I wish they made a watch that I loved, but I love the company.
Yeah, and it's funny. We got is Waltham up here is Watch City, because they were right on the Charles River. Their old factory was watches, and the gauges in the Model T Fords, Model Ts, Model A's. They said Waltham because that's who made the instruments, and they got screwed because the Waltham actually made the finest pocket watches, more accurate. You talk about Swiss watches. Yep, Waltham's better, more accurate. Yeah. But the problem was fashion shifted to wristwatches, and the Swiss were better at miniaturization, and all of the Swiss manufacturers, after getting their asses kicked by American mass production, they ganged up, they formed a consortium, they shared technology, and they dominate now the wristwatch market. But American mass-produced pocket watches were better.
I cannot imagine rocking a pocket watch.
I mean, I think you're a particular kind of person if you do, especially with the very obvious chain.
Yeah. You look like the guy in Mad Max. I can't think of his name, but he's got the thing and the monocle, and also, and somebody like our friend Todd from Everyday Driver would say, everybody has a pocket watch. It's a cell phone.
Which is true, yeah. And honestly, time is a construct. It was invented by the railroads. So the trains didn't crash into each other, and you could know when to show up.
I thought it was invented by the Mayans and the Romans, but okay.
I mean,
talk about
sort of, but
different show. You want to talk about trains? There you go, Francis. Come on,
exactly.
Grand Tour. Let's do a crossover.
Our modern conception of time zones was developed by the railroads. Time zones and timekeeping. So Eastern time, we're on Eastern time. Well, the sunrise over Boston is earlier than it is on the western edge of Eastern time. And so there's a delay across the time zones, as well, and it's sort of like all corrected for and stuff. But like timekeeping with accuracy was a thing, like how the ball drops in Times Square.
Yep.
Like that's the only one we can think of now, but those were everywhere. Like that was sort of like your
so all of what you're
noon and everything.
Trying to explain is why Robbie was sleeping when we were trying to plan the show today.
Right, because we're nerds.
Because Robbie was sleeping.
Because Robbie was in a different time zone. Isn't it like was he Mountain Time?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
It's like the weirdest time zone that everybody forgets all the time.
Yeah.
It's like
every time I try to set up a phone call with my best friend, I'm like trying to remember, oh yeah, Denver's 2 hours behind, not 3. Even though it feels like it's that far away, it's only 2.
Yeah.
Okay, we are way the fuck.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're interested in time zones, go find the Radio Lab episode. It's fantastic.
Yeah. If you're interested in time zones, reject daylight savings time. Okay.
Yeah, we should be on Atlantic time. If we could get all the New England states together, we could be.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna move on. Let's do like another 10, and then we'll call it before we are way in the weeds here.
What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about my truck, my Lexus.
Let's talk about your truck.
My very, very fancy Toyota Prado. So it's a 2018 GX 460. I know I've covered it on this show. I've covered it on prior shows. It's been on
pictures,
multiple. I'm working on the pictures. Right. It's been on multiple media's outlets. And I had 3 4Runners before I bought this, and I was literally about to drive. I was on my way to go look at a TRD Pro, a used TRD Pro 4Runner. And when it sold, and I ended up driving the GX because I knew it was effectively a fancy 4Runner, and the rest is history. That was 4.5 years ago, so it's been in my care longer than anything I've had since my first vehicle. And the latest stage of this build, as can be seen here in this beautifully overexposed poser picture from our last wheeling trip, is it's been a conglomerate of things. So the first of them was suspension from Elka, which so I first learned about Elka in like I want to say the late 2000s. They were doing ATV suspension, like really, really nice high-end ATV suspension. And I just like perpetually put off buying suspension for my quad at the time and never did. So I didn't have firsthand exposure with the brand. And when the time came to do suspension on my GX, I did Ironman, which, they were a partner on the project. But Elka jumped in and has, been a full partner on this for, since we started working on it last year. And they are really starting to dabble in the full-size world. So they're going from ATVs to SUVs and trucks and pickups and all that stuff, which you would think it's like a pretty linear jump, but there's a lot more nuance to it.
Yeah.
A lot of that comes from, the incremental price difference between an off-the-shelf product and something custom valved and custom tailored to your use and your vehicle. And that's kind of where Elka is playing. And, I've had it on my GX for 5 months or 6 months now. And I don't put that many miles on it because, I drive press cars and I live local to everything I need to go to. But I just the ability for a vehicle to feel on pavement effectively as comfortable as it does stock, and then just as comfortable off-road, and, still manage the, ideal amount of flex and articulation is mind-blowing.
That's not easy. Yeah.
Coming from the world of growing up in my dad's YJ Wrangler, this is a different planet. And, the Elka suspension, there's always obviously room for improvement. The mounting points for the reservoirs on this suspension setup isn't perfect. I don't expect that the Lexus GX 460 will be their biggest volume seller, but there's only like 5 brands that sell suspension for the GX, and there's probably 30 that sell it for the 4Runner, but they're the same frame. So there should be a little bit better of a place to put this stuff. And yeah, it's amazing. I have a friend who every time we go wheeling says, like, I cannot believe that truck went where it did with open front and rear diffs. And
it doesn't have lockers or limited slip?
There's a center diff lock, and then it's just
it just uses the brakes.
Yep. No, it doesn't even use the brakes because I turn traction control off because I grew up driving trucks without traction control and without stability control. And in the ATV world at the time, there was no traction and stability control. So, you can debate this up and down to the nth degree of the world, but I like, probably to my own detriment, I like managing it. So I turn everything off.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
The fact that this truck can go where it does without front or rear lockers it's amazing. And there are times when I have to pull much cable because I get in over my head and try to go places on 33s that guys on 35s have trouble with. But that's the fun in wheeling. And
we should go wheeling. We should. I should
take
the Ranger.
Come with. I have a spot that will be closer for you and Camille than it will be for me. That we can.
Let's do it.
And it's got a real nice rocky climb where you could play with your rear locker and see how far you can get without it and then with it.
I bought the FX4 for a reason. That reason was that it had white letter tires, but
well, that place is probably under about a foot of snow right now. So let's wait until the spring. But yeah, so I just wanted to touch on this because the GX is, I think about selling it.
You'll regret it.
Every 6 months, I think about selling it, and every 6 months I don't, and then do something like this with it and fall back in love. And then just to close the loop, Toyo also sent me tires, these RT Trails, which have been awesome so far. They're pizza cutters, so they're 255/80s.
Yep.
And you can see here they don't love mud because they're not a mud terrain, but they got me through places in crappy conditions that I was shocked that so RTs are in the Venn diagram of all terrains and mud terrains. The RTs, the rugged terrains, live in that overlap. And that's what these are. And obviously they're not great on mud, but they're good on road. They're good on rocks. They're decent in mud, and they kind of, it's like trying to be everything to everybody. And
that's difficult for how did that sound when you got back on the road? Just like the tread.
Yeah, when you get on the road after a day like this, you hear it everywhere.
Yeah. Well, and the narrower tire actually probably helps you out. I mean, it helps in the snow too.
Yes.
It focuses the weight of the vehicle, and you cut down through it.
The first vehicle I had, quote unquote, skinnies or pizza cutters on was my first 2005 4Runner, and it had 255/85 16s, which are like 34 by 9.8. And I've kind of just always loved them, that narrow aspect ratio since, because on the road, rolling resistance means that it doesn't feel like stock, but when you accelerate and you brake, you don't, even though weight is still a factor, there's not that much tire fighting friction.
Yeah.
And off-road, yes, there's pros and cons, and there's physically less lateral grip, even though our friend Kai from Tinkerer's Adventure goes into a whole thing about it. It's effectively the same when all is said and done, but the pizza cutters are lighter and they track better on the road, more like stock. And yeah, it's been a great setup. Yeah. And Pro Comp, shout out to them, and Wheel Pros, they shared my truck on their Instagram, and it's getting some love. So I can't open Instagram on my computer because I don't know my password. So
you're not missing anything.
I know.
We should have all those guys come on the show at some point, because I think that's actually something that like wheeling. We all buy like off-road things because we like the image, but then to actually use it, like that's a whole other subset. And right now I'm looking at a bunch of like King of the Hammers stuff.
Oh God, yeah, Hammers has been live this week. They have an awesome YouTube feed. Highly recommend it. BFG, if you're listening, hit us up because we want to come do a show from there next year.
Yeah, that sounds good. I used to have a contact at BFG.
I have one. His name's Andrew. I think Andrew might be listening, and Dan and I want to do a show live from Hammers next year. So let's make that happen. And yeah, the last thing I want to talk about in the GX world, and thank you for making my little description here is also nerd. We talked about this a while back on the show, and I've had it in the truck for like over 6 months now, so I feel qualified to actually provide a full review of things. The stock 2010 to 2021 Lexus GX 460 has this like terrible 8-inch screen that you can't swipe on. It's old school as old school touchscreen gets. All the HVAC controls are through it. It is infuriating. It takes like 2 minutes to boot up when you start the truck, so you can't change HVAC until the truck's 2 minutes into a start cycle. But
don't you also have like hard controls for the HVAC under the vents?
So this is the upgraded kit. This is the picture.
Oh, okay. So
picture seen here is the Hamilton. They call it a CarPlay kit, but it's really like a full center stack.
So that's what they do. They like replace it.
So
they give you the
it replaces everything down to the CD player from there up. The whole thing is a replacement kit, and they sent this to me, and I was skeptical because most people, or a good portion of people, don't have great experiences with aftermarket infotainment systems. And I had never really done or played with one that means you have to change out like the temperature controls and the clock and all that stuff. But the install was straightforward. It took longer than it should have because I had to unfuck some of my own stuff from a prior escapade. Yeah. But the Hamilton kit, like it looks like a factory 2023 GX460 minus the duplicity of the knobs because you don't get a CD player in the later ones. And it functions like OEM. You know, you can go back and toggle through the stock like screens to change vehicle settings and all that stuff, and listen to AM radio if you really want to. And
if you want to buy gold, that's where you go. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And Jesus. And yeah, in day-to-day life, like sometimes it takes a minute to boot up, but the screen resolution is great. It relocated the fan, the vents from higher up in the dash to lower, which I thought would be a pain in the ass and annoying, but it's been fine so far.
So it's like what is in the kit? It's the screen. It's the
this whole the whole thing.
Is it all assembled and like is it the tan bezel behind it too that goes?
It's the whole thing
into the dash. Wow.
The whole fitment, including like the material that mounts it to the dash. It's the screen. It's the vents. It's the controls. The buttons. It's a physical like 18-inch by I don't know. Probably 18-inch piece that replaces the whole factory insert.
Yeah.
And they sent it to me to test and review, and I think the retail price is like $1,300, which it brings in the question of 2021 and prior GXs go for $10,000 less than 2022 to 2024 end of 460 model run vehicles. And the only difference whatsoever is this center stack. So
that's just the later model center stack that's been...
They gave it CarPlay in 2022.
Okay, but it is the same vehicle. Like it's
Same vehicle.
Right?
Everything about it is the same. They didn't change anything else. So it's like, do you buy the earlier vehicle and spend $1,500 on this thing? And
yes, the answer is yes.
And that's, if I didn't have the media connections, that's what I would have done regardless. And yeah, I mean, there have been like a couple hiccups, and their customer support has been awesome. I can't vouch for it enough, and I'm not one to shill things just for the sake of shilling things. But it's like $10,000. If you buy a 2021 or a 2022, the difference is $10,000. There's no mechanical difference. There's no physical difference. There's no interior difference other than this. And yeah, it makes my truck feel like, I'm spoiled. I get all the press cars. I get all the new tech. Getting into my truck made it feel like literally going back in time. And now it feels like at least comparably modern.
A little more modern. Is that screen an OLED?
I do not know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pretend I know.
No, that's just my biggest issue with screens. It probably is. But the OLEDs have true black because they're organic LEDs, so they don't need a backlight.
Ooh, I don't know.
And you can dim them better than so. Like our 4xe, our WL Grand Cherokee has OLED on its nav screen, and so you can get it darker. My Ranger has more traditional LCD or LED displays. I can't even get the instrument panel as dim as I want it. Because it has a backlight. So
this does dim very low with it's probably with OLED. The OEM dimmer on the left side of the dashboard.
So everything integrates. That's really nice. Yeah.
This also has one of the only time that I've ever seen this short of a Saab. There's a button to the left of the temperature control you can see, and I think I'm still sharing my screen.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
Oh shit! But I obviously don't know how to use this.
You don't know how to use program, which is fine.
But this button on the left here, this daytime nighttime button, if you push that button, it shuts all of the screen turns off. Like
that's awesome.
Actual, it's like Saab. It's like that. Yeah. The only thing left is the dashboard, and it's awesome. And I have
Cherokee has that too. It has a screen off button.
Does it?
There's a lot. Yeah, especially on the new one does.
4x.
So like driving on long highway trips, it's just like this bright ass thing, and even dimmed all the way down. So
if you know where you're going,
screen off.
You already have the radio or podcast that you want to be listening to.
Yeah.
Happening,
and that stuff's in the instrument panel too. So like, I don't need it in 4 places. Like,
you have the gauge cluster stuff. Yeah.
And the Ranger, I have to go through like 3 menus because Ford. It's very obtuse to shut off the screen. So I love having the screen off button. Yeah, it's like, because sometimes it's useful, but sometimes I just don't need it.
I pushed it by accident the first time. I was like, wait a minute,
I broke it.
Oh my god, I don't have to stand. Like you and I both know we spend plenty of time looking at computers and phones. So to have that option to just shut the thing off with one button, and that's why we're in contacts. And to be able to just say bye-bye, I don't need you right now. It's awesome. So,
it's the best thing ever. Too much light in the cabin is not, like, I shut off all the ambient light. Camille complains about this. He's like, I would get press cars after you, and all that stuff would be off. I couldn't see anything. The gauges would be dim. I was like, I commute in the dark with the press cars.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So I shut all that crap off. And if you want it, you can have, but like, why do you need more light in the interior?
Right,
it's just going to make it harder for you to see out.
We need less light. We need less light pollution. I say that as somebody who lives in quote unquote city. And so do you.
Yeah, you live in East Manhattan,
Yeah. So, okay, let's call the game.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. This would be, we're recording the 5th of February. It's probably not going to come out till, I don't know, whatever, the 12th or something.
That's okay.
Next week.
Whatever you got to do.
And then this would be the show. Nobody's probably listening anymore because we've been going for a while, but next show after this one is going to be a good one.
It'll be a good one.
Yeah. Although we have one in between because we've got to do the recording. And anyway, stay tuned.
We got good shit coming. Speaking of kicking the hammers.
Yeah. All right, cool. Thank you for hanging in there with us. If you're still hung in with us, subscribe, all of those things. We do have a problem with the feed, which we're going to try to fix. We might just have to create a new feed.
But yeah, thank you for listening to Nerd and Fellow Also Nerd.
Also nerd. Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Cool. Thanks, everyone.